Although community colleges enroll 46% of U.S. students, little is known about the smoking behavior of these students. Yet, understanding who is a tobacco user is an important first step in intervention. In this pilot study, a nicotine biomarker, cotinine, was introduced to an applied microbiology course required of all allied health students. Those students included medical assistants, respiratory therapists, and surgical technicians. Cotinine was selected as the biomarker because it is not a natural substance that would be found in the human body unless an individual had been exposed to a nicotine source. The chemical nicotine is shown at the top left of slide 2. Nicotine evolved in tobacco plants as an insecticide. It is not a very stable chemical and easily breaks down in the human body to the metabolite cotinine, shown in the top right of slide 2. Cotinine differs from nicotine only by the addition of an oxygen on the 5-member ring. Cotinine is detectable in human urine for at least 96 hours or 4 days after any exposure to nicotine, either by smoking or by ingestion. Nicotine can also break down in the tobacco curing process, as shown in the pink box in the lower left of slide 2. These breakdown products are called tobacco-specific nitrosamines and are potent carcinogens of lung cancer, NNK, as well as esophageal and oral cancers, called NNN. They can enter the human body either by smoking or by chewing tobacco. Studies have shown that urinary cotinine levels highly correlate with the presence of these carcinogens. Although the U.S. tobacco industry has known for 3 decades how to modify the curing process to prevent the formation of these nitrosamines, they have not fully implemented those processes. Returning to our study in slide 3, participation was entirely voluntary and students were provided with appropriate informed consent approved by the school's institution review board. The study was initiated 10 months after the college became 100% tobacco-free. The authors hypothesized that students would benefit from immediate visual feedback of their exposure to nicotine sources. Participants tested their own first morning urine sample at home and then answered the questionnaire shown in slide 3 about their tobacco smoke and/or nicotine exposure in the previous 24-hour period. A participant who answered no to all the questions was classified as a non-smoker. Our study design is shown in slide 4. This 2-dimensional design is considered the gold standard in assessing tobacco exposure, in which a questionnaire is combined with a measurement of urinary cotinine. Since such studies have found that smokers, due to the stigma of smoking, falsely deny smoking, we were interested how forthcoming participants would be if they conducted the analysis themselves in the privacy of their own home. Participants were initially trained in a class laboratory how to interpret their results using cotinine control standards. The presence of many pink lines starting at the base of the strip indicated that there was no cotinine present in the sample, typical of a non-smoker. Only one pink line at the top of the strip indicated that there was considerable cotinine present in the urine sample, typical of a daily smoker. The decrease in the pink lines was due to cotinine binding with antibodies at the various levels on the ladder of the strip. Intermediate levels of cotinine could also be detected due to occasional smoking or to riding in an automobile with a smoker or residing with a smoker. The summary of the first year is shown in slide 5. Participants who reported no exposure to a nicotine product in any venue made up 55% of the group. Their cotinine results confirmed their questionnaire reports being low levels. In designing the protocol, it was hoped that false positives could be avoided by the use of the first morning urine sample in order to avoid medication interference. Such interferences appeared to be successfully avoided. Other advantages of the first morning urine sample were that the sample was more concentrated and nicotine had a good 8 hours to metabolize to cotinine before the analysis. Daily smokers made up 18% of the study participants. The 14 respondents answered yes to either questions 1 and 2, admitting to either smoking and or ingesting a nicotine source in the previous 24 hours. Their cotinine levels, highlighted in red, typically exceeded 1,000 nanograms cotinine per milliliter urine, the highest level. The remaining 27% of the students either resided with smokers and or rode in an automobile with an individual smoking in the previous 24 hours. They answered no to either questions 1 or 2. The term at-risk non-smokers was designated for this group even though cotinine levels were elevated for over half of the group, as shown in red, equivalent to levels observed for smokers. This is why at-risk non-smokers are usually termed second-hand smokers. A comparison of both years of the study is shown in slide 6. Although percentages for the non-smoking and smoking groups were similar, elevated cotinine for the at-risk group decreased in the second year of the study. The authors and the students attributed this decrease to the instruction that students received in class that mid-range urinary cotinine would result by riding in a car with a smoker. Most participants, especially smokers, did not know that cotinine level would significantly increase by riding in a car with a smoker. Once informed, participants refused to ride in a car with a smoker. This is an interesting intervention in itself by the at-risk non-smokers. Data from both years is compiled in slide 7, in which it was noted that participants were predominantly female over the 2 years, making up a total of 88% of the respondents. Representative comments from the smoking group are shown on slide 8, such as, "Unfortunately, I am a smoker. This is what I expected to see on the strip." Only one respondent circled both questions 1 and 2, indicating dual use of an e-cigarette. One respondent circled only question 2, with the comment that, "I had a feeling it would be high because I chew tobacco. Thankfully, I'm in the process of quitting." Occasionally, participants would commit to smoking cessation. Typical comments would be, "That was the result I was expecting. Sadly, I do smoke, and after seeing this and also hearing in class that some healthcare providers won't hire you if you smoke, makes me want to quit smoking." Socializing with other smokers was a frequent comment for smokers, such as, "I expected to be a little high, but not at the highest. I am around people who smoke daily, and I myself smoke occasionally to calm my anxiety, but I didn't expect to be that high." Responses from the at-risk non-smokers are shown in slide 9. This group answered no only to the first 2 questions and yes to any of the other questions. The group frequently mentioned smoke exposure in the house, such as, "I don't smoke, but my boyfriend does every day, and I am exposed to smoke." The highest cotinine result from the at-risk non-smoker group was equivalent to 400 nanogram per milliliter urine, and it was observed for a participant who commented, "My boyfriend smokes a lot and does it in the bedroom when I'm asleep." Most of the at-risk participants described their efforts to avoid secondhand smoke. Typical comments were, "I do not smoke, and I do my best to avoid areas that people smoke in. My mother smokes, but only outside. Therefore, I'm not really exposed to the actual smoke." In summary, on slide 10, participants were surprisingly forthcoming about their smoking status. The promise of confidentiality provided by the informed consent may be a factor. Students also were quite serious about participating in a scientific study as both the investigator and as the subject. Since the course is only 5 weeks long, students had 4 weeks after the initial training to complete the assignment. Typically, the non-smokers return their results on the second week of class, followed by the smokers and the at-risk groups on subsequent weeks. The 4 weeks also provided an opportunity for some students to stop smoking before administering the TobacAlert cotinine test. Smokers often reported their surprise and disgust about the lingering presence of nicotine metabolite in their body fluids. This response alone supports our hypothesis that students benefited from immediate visual feedback of their exposure to nicotine sources. Going forward, the study helped the nursing division recognize a constituency of students in need of in-depth training on the hazards of tobacco smoke. The TobacAlert protocol has been incorporated into the course curriculum. Our appreciation is extended to the Delaware County Community College Educational Foundation for making this project possible.